friends, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a fall DIY and I'm using items I got from the dollar store. But I thought today I would do more of a fall focused DIY versus a Halloween. I did a Halloween one last week. If you missed that, I will be sure to link it below so you guys can go and watch that after this one. I got all my goods here from the Dollar Tree. This is just one bag. I have several. And my idea for today is to actually decorate the shelf above my TV. I think that's where just about everything that I'm doing in today's video is going to be going. Besides a wreath, I do want to make a wreath. I don't know where I'm going to put that for sure. It might be on the front door. It might be too small for that. You guys would be shocked at the amount of stems that they have at the Dollar Tree right now. I've been to a few different ones and every single one I've been to so far has had the same amount of stems and they're so beautiful. So my tip to you is to go early if you want a variety because you can't beat stems for $1. I stand corrected at $1.25. I'm sure you guys know by now that they've upped their prices to $1.25. So I think the first thing we're going to start with today is the wreath because I'm just really excited to get going on this. So everything else is from the dollar store, but I had to go and find a wreath at our thrift store because I figured that would be the cheapest way to do it. So I found this beautiful wreath. I mean, it's just stunning. I found this at our thrift store for $1. Maybe it was 75 cents. The sticker's no longer on it, but I'm just gonna pluck these off and I'm going to use stems from the Dollar Tree. We're going to replace them on here. I would suggest when it comes to this part, there's a lot of different ways you could do this, but I would say check your thrift stores are going to be cheaper there. There was like 20 of these at our thrift store. And if not, Hobby Lobby has them for a few dollars. I think that you can get them for this size. I think it's like $3 there anyway. So it's really cheap. And then again, we're going to remove all of these and then start gluing. I'm just using hot glue to attach all of the stems on here. Let me just show you guys some of the stems that I picked. We're going for more of like a neutral color scheme. Do I have other things? Oh, I do. Okay. I found this pumpkin stem I thought was so cute. Can you guys see that from here? It has like a rope around it. I don't know. This is just a really cool pumpkin that I might glue on there. I also got a few little pumpkins that I will place on the wreath as well. So we are working with a few different pumpkins and some fall stems. And my favorite things this year were the mums, and that we're going to do another project with mums, but I just think that they're so cute. So I got a couple white mums for the wreath. So to get started, I'm just removing the old flowers and then I actually didn't really need the hot glue gun. I ended up using it only one time at the end with just one of the flowers because the stems were able to fit really snug into the wreath just by kind of shoving. So that's kind of the technique that I used. But I began with placing these two stems, leaving a space in the center so that I could layer some flowers on top. And then I had just one of these flowers, so I cut this in half and then I put some of those flowers on both sides. Then I added a full mum stem on the top and the bottom. And the last thing I did was added some pumpkins and these had clips on them. So again, these secured just fine without the hot glue gun. I am very impressed with how this turned out. The total for this was under $10, so I think that was an amazing deal for how beautiful this wreath turned out. The next thing we're doing is we are going to tea stain these books. So I have talked about how I tea stain books from the thrift store, from the Dollar Tree, doesn't really matter. But that's what gives it more of a vintage, aged, distressed look. We're going to just make these books look like they're old. So I picked up some tea from Dollar Tree. I got some books from Dollar Tree, and then I also have some sponge brushes. I already had some of those, but I believe they have those at the Dollar Tree as well. So I'm going to make some tea, and then we are going to get to staining the pages, and this is just going to make them kind of lumpy. They're going to turn the pages yellow. So again, it's going to make them look just old and distressed. But the first thing we want to do is remove all of the book covers. So I tried to pick some that would go well with fall decor. So I got a few darker books. So this one's like a dark gray. I have a black one. And then the rest of these are a cream tan color. But I also am going to sand the books down. And I know that sounds weird, but I'm going to take some sandpaper and we're going to just rub off the sides and then just kind of sand this down to just make it look, again, old and beat up. We don't want these to look new. I want them to look old for where I want them styled in my home. Another thing you can do if you don't have sandpaper is just go outside on your cement on the driveway and just kind of like scrape the sides of the book off. That's actually how I've always done it, but I've seen some tutorials of people using sandpaper. It might be a little easier and more controlled. So I'm going to try with sandpaper today, but if not, then I'll just go outside and we're just going to like throw the book around, bang it up on the sidewalk. You can also just kind of like slam it against, you know, to like get some nice dents all over it. We're just gonna beat these books up, all right? The first thing I did was remove the book covers, and then I had a handful of tea bags and some hot water soaking ready to use for the stain. All I do is dip my sponge brush into the water and I brush it on the pages. I skip several pages and then I continue this process throughout the whole book. So you don't have to do every single page. That would take forever. I usually just get a handful of pages and I'll skip through and then I'll do both the back and the front side of them. So I'm just going to continue doing this until I have finished all 5 books. The next thing I'm doing is sanding down the edges to make it look a little more aged. And I loved this technique with sandpaper. I felt like I could control the distressing more. And I feel like it did look a little bit more aged versus when I use cement. But that is definitely another option. If you don't have sandpaper laying around, it's easy to just go out on the road, the pavement, the cement, and just kind of scrape up your book. For this next project, we are going to make a mum floral arrangement. So I picked out 5 of the orange mums, and then I found 5 of these little squares in their like cross section. So my idea is, this is a really easy DIY. We're just going to glue these together, like make a box, okay? This is the idea. We're gonna make a box. And then basically we're just gonna stick the mums in. I might end up staining this box because I just have a ton of stain in my garage. And so because I have it on hand, I might stain them. But this would look great as is because this wood is really beautiful, natural. So it just kind of depends on your preference. But I think this will be a really easy DIY. People will not believe that this was all from the Dollar Tree. So all I'm doing here is just gluing the sides together, and if you're wanting to stain these, I probably would suggest doing that before you glue them. I mean, it probably doesn't really matter, but I would stain them before. I did not have enough time to stain these for this video, but I do think it would be fun to still maybe go back and add just a little bit more color, just because my shelf is the same color as this box. So I would like it to be a little bit darker. I think that that would help just with like a little bit more dimension up on the shelf. And then to finish this off, obviously all you do is add in some mums, and I just bent the bottoms of the stems just so they could fit in nicely into this little square. I think 5 stems were perfect for this little arrangement, but again, I love how this turned out. For this next one, you're going to need a couple different frames, just depending on how many frames you want to work with. So I got an 8x10 and a 5x7. This one is like a silver gold color, and then this one is a gold color. So my idea is to have these, again, they're going to go up on my shelf. I think one of them is going to go this way. And I just printed off some fall images off of Google. So I printed some images off. These are the images that I found. And what I looked for was fall impressionist landscaping. I love the look of impressionist paintings. Anytime I paint, that's like the way that I do it. I don't know if I've even told you guys that. I love painting. So this is like my favorite look of paintings is impressionist paintings. All we're going to do, this is literally the easiest DIY. If you have a printer and $2, then you'll be able to do this. So I'm going to just put these inside the frames, and then we will put these up on the shelf.
I've said it many times, I know I would change my ways, I know for sure. When all the crows decide to meet, they settle down beneath my feet. I've got it right and I got it wrong, but I learned my lesson hanging on. Come sit here with me by the fire and let it go for a little while. So be here as the night starts falling. Let my fingers walk over your head. We got nothing to be scared of. I'd rather be with you than by myself. Now all is in your hands.
For this last tutorial, I'm probably the most excited about this one. And that's because you guys already know I love garlands. I'm obsessed with them. So I found this little twiggy garland at the Dollar Tree. Okay, it's getting all tangled. What the heck? Okay, 5 feet long. It's not too crazy big, but what I thought would be so cute. I actually love it just as it is. I probably would just do this, and this would be fine if I wasn't doing a DIY, because I do want to add to it. So what I found at the Dollar Tree, I've never seen these before. I think this is the first year they've had them, but I might be wrong. I found these leather leaves. Are you kidding? Leather leaves, and there's a pack of 8. I bought 2. I probably will just need 1 for this. But my plan is to glue, I'm going to glue some of these like in between the other leaves. And then before I do that, actually, I'm going to get some book pages, lay them down, and then like trace a leaf around the book pages and then cut them out. So we'll have like the leather leaves, and then we'll have some book page leaves in between. I just think that this is going to be super cute. So the only thing though is I'm not going to do it sitting here, because I want to actually have this hung up where it's going to go, and then I'm going to like glue this up there. Does that make sense? Because this kind of like has a mind of its own, and once it's hanging, I don't want the leaves to be like flipped upside down since I'm gluing them on. That's the idea. That's what we're going to try to do. So I'm going to go hang this up right now, and then we will get to gluing on the different leaves. The first thing I'm doing is tracing some leaves onto book pages to use as part of the garland. I cut 6 leaves out for this size of garland, which was 5 feet, and I feel like that was the perfect amount. Before I finished the garland, I wanted to put everything into place and then string the leaf garland up there before I add the leather and the paper leaves to it. I also end up changing this up a bit at the end. I add a really cute mushroom that I found at the Dollar Tree, and I also switched some things up. So stay tuned for the final look of this shelf. All I'm doing is using a little dab of hot glue to secure the leaves into any of the empty spaces. And in some spaces I did both paper and a leather leaf, and then in others I just did one or the other. I hope you guys have been loving all the fall inspired videos lately. I know it's a little early, but I love sharing inspiration before the season. So if you want to tackle any projects or DIYs, you have plenty of time to do those projects with me. That's everything for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't yet hit that red subscribe button, I'd be so grateful to have you guys here. I upload new videos every Monday and Thursday, so be sure to also hit that bell so you guys never miss another video. Thanks again, and we'll see you guys next time.